I never thought my life would end the way it did. Not with glory, not with closure, but with my husband looking me in the eyes and choosing her over me. I still remember that night clearly. The rain was hitting the windows like it was trying to warn me. The house felt too quiet, like even the walls were holding their breath. I came home earlier than usual. I had planned to surprise him. Dinner was in my hands. My keys were still warm from my pocket. I was even smiling when I opened the door. That smile died the moment I heard her laugh, soft, familiar, inside my home. I walked slowly down the hallway, every step heavier than the last, until I saw them, my husband and my best friend, together, on our couch. Not just close, not just talking, intimate in a way that told me this wasn't new. This wasn't a mistake. This was something I had been living beside for a long time without knowing. He saw me first, and I will never forget the way his face didn't panic. He just sighed, like I was the inconvenience. "Since you're here," he said, still holding her hand, "we should talk." That sentence, that calm voice, that moment, it didn't feel real. I dropped the food on the floor. I think the sound was supposed to mean something, shock, anger, drama, but I didn't feel anything at first. Just cold. "She understands me better," he said after a pause, like he was explaining a business decision. "I think we should separate." My best friend couldn't even look at me. That hurt more than anything he said. I remember laughing, not because it was funny, but because my brain refused to accept it. "All this time?" I asked. "All these years?" He didn't answer. That silence was the answer. And that was the moment something inside me broke so quietly, I didn't even realize I was falling apart. I don't remember how the argument escalated. I just remember rain outside getting louder, voices rising, a glass breaking, then pain, then falling, then darkness. When I opened my eyes again, I wasn't in my body anymore. I was somewhere else, a place without sound, without air, without time, just endless white space stretching in every direction. And then I heard a voice. "Compatibility confirmed, granting second life authorization." I tried to speak, but I had no mouth. No karma record mismatch detected. Assigning system, portable space and speed. Something burned into my mind like fire and lightning at the same time. And then I fell again. I woke up coughing, dirt in my mouth, cold ground under my fingers, real air in my lungs. I shot up instantly. My body was smaller, younger, stronger, in a way I couldn't explain. I looked around. Forest. No city. No house. No betrayal. Just trees and silence. And a faint glowing interface in front of my eyes. System active. User. Reborn entity. Abilities unlocked. Portable space Levi. 1 speed enhancement Levi. When I blinked. What is this? I raised my hand. And something impossible happened. A small distortion opened in front of me, like reality itself folding like paper. Inside it was space. Empty. Infinite. Mine. I reached for a stone. It vanished into the space like it was never real. I pulled my hand back, heart racing. No way. I tried again. Tree branch. Stored. Water from a puddle. Stored. My breathing got faster with every test. This wasn't a dream. And then I tried the second ability, speed. At first, nothing happened. Then I focused, and the world slowed. A falling leaf hung in the air like it forgot how to fall. My heartbeat echoed like a drum in a cave. I took one step, and the ground behind me cracked from the force. I was no longer human. Days passed, maybe weeks. Time was hard to track. I learned quickly. Portable space could store anything I touched. Food, weapons, water, even heat. And speed. Speed was terrifying. When I activated it fully, the world turned into frozen glass while I moved freely through it. But it drained me badly. I learned limits the hard way, collapsing in forests, waking up hours later with blood in my nose and exhaustion in my bones. Still, I kept training, because I remembered her face, and his voice, She understands me better. That sentence became my fuel. On the 10th day, I found a road. On the 12th, I found a town. On the 13th, I realized this world wasn't my world. It was similar but wrong. Monsters existed here. Not everywhere, but enough. Beasts that looked like wolves made of ash. Creatures that moved too fast for normal humans. And people here had systems too. Some were strong. Most were weak. And I realized something quickly. Power decided everything. Here, I didn't tell anyone what I could do. I didn't trust anyone. I learned to act normal. A quiet girl with no history. A survivor. But at night, I trained. Inside my portable space, I built my own world. A place where I could store weapons I crafted, food I collected, even stolen books about this world's structure. I started planning. Not survival. Not escape. But something sharper. Revenge. Then I heard his name. Not my husband. Not in memory. But real. Alive. In this world. He was a rising adventurer. Respected. Powerful. And worse, he was admired. The system didn't just give me a second life. It gave me a target. I stood outside the guild hall that day for a long time. Watching him. Laughing with others. Surrounded by people who believed in him. He looked the same. Older, maybe. But the same eyes. The same calm arrogance. The same man who once looked at me like I was replaceable. My hands shook. Not from fear. From restraint. Because I could end it right there. One speed burst. One strike. It would be over. But something stopped me. Not mercy. Not love. Curiosity. I wanted him to know. I wanted him to feel it. So I waited. I watched. I learned his routines. His team. His weaknesses. And I grew stronger. Speed level 2. Then 3. Portable space expanded. I could now store living things for short periods. Dangerous. Very dangerous. And I started to realize I wasn't just getting stronger. I was becoming something else. Something detached. Something cold. The night I confronted him, the sky was red. War had broken out near the city walls. Monsters everywhere. Chaos everywhere. Perfect timing. He was separated from his group, injured, breathing hard. I stepped out from behind the ruins. He didn't recognize me at first. "Who are you?" he asked. I almost laughed, because that was exactly how I used to feel around him. Unimportant. Replaceable. I activated my speed, just slightly. The air shifted. His eyes narrowed. Then I said it. "My name doesn't matter." I tilted my head. "But you used to call me your wife." Silence. His face changed. Confusion first. Then shock. Then something like fear. "No," he whispered. "That's impossible." I stepped closer. Every step echoed like thunder in his perception. "I died," I said softly. "Because of you." "I didn't," he started. But I didn't let him finish. Because I finally understood something important. He wasn't worth hearing. Not anymore. Speed activated. The world froze. His mouth still forming words. His hand still reaching for a weapon. But I was already behind him. I didn't kill him immediately. I wanted him to see it. So I whispered into his ear, "You chose her, and I chose this." When time returned, he was on his knees, alive, barely. Not because I spared him, but because I decided something worse. Death was too clean, too easy. I turned away, and opened my portable space. A dark, endless void. "I'll take everything from you," I said. "Just like you did to me." Then I stepped into the shadows of war, leaving him behind, breathing, broken, aware. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel sad. I only felt empty. But this time, it was an emptiness I controlled. And as I walked away from the burning city, I finally understood what I had become. Not a victim. Not a wife. Not even a survivor. Something faster than fear. Something bigger than betrayal. Something reborn. And this world was only the beginning.